Hey friends, it's Len here at 1A Auto. Today we're working on a 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. I'm going to be removing the fan shroud. It's going to be a very easy job. I want to be the guy that shows you how to do it. If you need any parts, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. Thanks. So now I'm going to remove the cover right here. I'm going to use a 10mm. Set those aside. Lift this up, pull it towards you, slides right off. We'll set this aside. Okay, next step, we're going to remove these little push clips. Something as simple as a small pocket screwdriver will do that. What you do is you lift up the center part, that unlocks these ears, then you can slide it up. We'll set that aside. Do the same for all these push clips. All the push clips. Grab this out of the way. We'll set it aside. All right. Get this off of here. That gives us access to get to right here. Use a 10mm. One bolt. Set this aside. Grab this one. Bolt number 2, same as number 1. Set it aside. Got our last bolt right over here. Continuing with our 10mm. Number 3, same as the other 2. Can't mix those up. We'll grab our reservoir. We'll set this aside. We're just going to remove this hose. There we are. Set this aside. We're going to remove this clamp right here. Just shake it around a little bit, get it to break free. These pliers are great, except getting the exact right size for things sometimes can be a pain. Slide it down the hose. You're going to grab your hose, give it a little wiggle. If it doesn't seem like it wants to break free, this one almost kind of looks like it will. Yep, it's coming off. Okay. We'll set that aside. You can check your hose. Make sure you don't see any dry rot cracks in there when you squeeze it. This hose still looks decent. Set it aside. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try to remove these nuts right here. Okay, what I'm gonna do first though is I'm just gonna try to loosen them all up. Once I loosen them all up, I'm gonna remove the serpentine belt. These right here are 12mm nuts. So you just take your wrench while the belt's still on, set it on there, just give it a little shake to break it free. If you go slow, it's just probably gonna spin the pulley, so you just gotta really kind of jam onto it. Try to snap it free, okay? Like I said, you don't want to fully remove these nuts. If you fully remove the nuts, the pulley's going to be able to shift and it might throw the belt off. So keep that in mind. Okay, we've got all 4 of those loose. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the serpentine belt. We'll get that out of the way and we can continue. Okay, so to get to the tensioner pulley, which is located directly to the driver's side of the water pump pulley or the fan clutch pulley, I'm just going to go right here with your 14mm socket and lift up on it. That relieves tension on the belt. Take the belt off of whichever pulley you can easily reach. For me, it was the power steering pump. We'll get our tool out of here. Okay, so now we have no tension on this. We can go ahead and take out all 4 of these bolts, or nuts, I mean. That's what they look like. We'll remove all these, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, get our last nut off of here. We'll set it aside with the other 3. Now we can grab our assembly, pull it right off. Here we are. We'll set the fan aside. There it is. Cool. Now we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we'll just remove this right here. That makes it so these hoses will come off of the fan shroud. There we are. Now those won't be holding us up. We're gonna remove a 10mm right here. That's what it looks like. We'll set this aside. Okay. We're going to remove the 10mm on the other side of the engine, or the other side of the radiator. There it is. Same as the first. I'll put both of those together. Be easy to remember how they go together. We can grab our fan shroud and our fan assembly. We're going to pull them both up at the same time. Pull our fan assembly out. And there we are. There's our fan assembly. Okay. Grab the shroud. We'll remove that. Easy peasy. Okay, it's time to install our cooling shroud and fan. I'm just going to get the shroud so it's down in there waiting for me. I'll get my fan lined up. Let's see, I'm going to try to pull it away so you can hopefully see a little bit. Get that down in there. There we are. Okay, I've got 4 of these nuts right up here. So I'm just going to, I'll get them started on. We'll tighten them down in a minute. One. I'm going to use my ratchet with my 14mm. I'm going to maneuver the tensioner so it releases tension on the belt, gives me more slack essentially, and I can put my belt over all my pulleys. Gonna get my ratchet out of here. Before I go any further, I'm just gonna double check to make sure the belt's on all my pulleys. Beautiful. Okay. Keep going with my double check in here. All right, at this point, without starting up the vehicle, it looks as though I'm on all my pulleys. We'll double check it again after we have a chance to start the vehicle. We can move ahead to the next step. Okay. Using our same 14mm socket and ratchet that we were using, we're going to go back on the tensioner. We're going to apply opposite pressure. I'm pushing down at this point. That's applying pressure to the belt, and it's going to prevent this pulley from spinning while I tighten up these nuts. Nice and tight. All right, it's nice and tight. This one. Nice and tight. There we are. All 4 are nice and tight. We can move along to the next step. Okay, it's time to get this lined up. At the bottom, right down here, you have a little hooky-doo that comes off the radiator, comes like this, and then the shroud slides down in it, like that, okay? So you need to try to get the bottom pressed up against the radiator, and then slide it down into its little groove down there. Once it seems like it's in, you can just go ahead and give it a little bonk. Just like that. A little loving bonk makes the world go round. Go over here. Here we are. Okay. Inside with the radiator, you got these little square nuts here. They just go right inside these slots. I'm gonna go right up in the top, just like that. It slides right in the side, and that just makes it so the bolt has something to go into. I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, got one of our bolts started in there. I'm gonna leave it loose for the second until I start this one. There we are. Once it feels like it bottoms out, like that, just gonna give it a teeny bit more. Give it a wiggle, feels good. Do the same thing over here. You don't want to apply too much pressure on these because the radiator's plastic, right? Okay, bottomed out. A little more. Give her a nice wiggle. The bottom doesn't separate from the radiator. That means we did a good job getting the fan shroud into the little hooky-doos down there. On this side over here, we have that little clamp or clip that held the hoses. So I'm just gonna go like that. See if I can get it to plug in there. There we are. That just makes it so they can't wobble around, go too far, cause an issue. Let's move along to the next step. Okay, so we've got our little push clips here. You just want to take it while they're open, or the center's lifted out, push in the outer ring, and then push in the center. Okay, you can start from the center, you can start from one side. You do you, boo-boo. I'm gonna put that one there, I'll find it later. Grab that. See if I can push through the center. Some of these are in pretty poor condition. Maybe I'll get some and replace those. Watch the video on that. There we are. Those are all in. We can move ahead to the next step. Okay. I'm going to grab this clamp with my pliers, hopefully. There we are. Slide the hose over the radiator. Try to get my pliers on there. There we go. Bring this over. Give it a nice little tug. It's going nowhere. You can move ahead to the next step. So here we go. We're going to install our coolant reservoir. Just line up the holes. We've got our 3 bolts. I'm going to start them all in before I go ahead and tighten any of them down. There we are. We'll tighten these down. Okay. Start with the hardest one to get to, because why not? Feels like it's getting close. Okay, bottomed, teeny bit. There we go. Just gonna grab the other 2. Bottomed. There it is. Let's move to the next step. Time to install this. This hose lines up with this, slides right on there. This is going to close right up. Of course, we're going to fill it first, but just to show you, clips on there, easy peasy. Okay, it's time to install our engine cover. We've got 2 little hooky-doos like this. One's going to go here, one's going to go there. This is going to set flat down, and then we've got a little piton there, one there, going to go in there. Line them up, bring it down, line up the studs with the holes. We've got 2 2 nuts. Tight. Tight. Looking good.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com, your place for DIY auto repairs, for great parts, great service, and more content.